That's not me.
I know.
Okay. Well, while Pat is getting these things set up, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a licensed attorney for 25 years. Thank you. Early in, let's see, we're a little high on this, Pat. I'm going to cut off.
The other slides are okay, that one's not.
Oh, okay. All right. But I've been licensed for 25 years. During the first 20, I have worked in a family-owned business. And it was my own family, and it was other people's families. I did everything there. I did the legal work, I worked with city councils, I worked with investors, I worked with franchises. So did a variety of things. And of course, I handled all the legal work. For the past 5 years, I have had my own practice. So probably one of the things I bring to the table that to me is the most critical for my clients is I've been there. I get it. My practice right now is a small business. What I have to do every time I spend money is figure out, am I going to get it back? How am I going to make this work? How many things am I going to try and test market with the way I approach people? The other advantage that I have of practicing on my own, you know what? I get to pick my clients. And I get to work with people I like because life is too short. I'm not a downtown lawyer. I'm in the burbs. I love it. And again, having a deep relationship with clients, I think is critical. And it's critical in all of your businesses as well. It's the customer service. It's that relatability. So let's see if I can. So what I do is I act as a general counsel for small businesses. I think every small business deserves a team. That means a CPA, it means a business consultant, and it means an attorney. And it may mean an insurance agent, it may mean a banker, but there's no reason a small business can't have all of those things. You just don't have them full time. You have them on an as-needed basis. So a general counsel is an important member of the team, and you can save money by establishing a relationship with an attorney to have, when you need it, have somebody on call. When something happens, that person already knows you. You can reach out to them. I don't care if it's me or if it's someone else. It has to be someone you're comfortable with. You want to make that relationship work, and by having a relationship with that attorney, it creates a synergy because I'm successful if you're successful. I take it personally because my clients take it personally. Creative solutions. I think you can over-lawyer things. And not every attorney agrees with me, but I think there's times that sometimes a common sense solution makes much more sense than a lawsuit where the only people that win are the attorneys. So let someone else come in and give you advice. Let someone else take the emotion out of it if you're upset with someone over something. Again, you want to find somebody that's in your corner. And that's really the key. Somebody that can think beyond just black and white law. Oops. Here we go. So when you work with an attorney, you'll find different ways of how they bill. I do flat fees and I do hourly rates. Some attorneys do only one or only the other. So there's a variety of ways for billing. And if you've ever been in a taxi and it's, you hear that tick, 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 and, the meter's turning and the money's going up, be really aware. If you have limited dollars, if your attorney charges you by the hour and you're having a long, drawn-out conversation regarding your child's softball game, you need to know if that's on the clock. Because for some attorneys it is and some attorneys it isn't. If you're comfortable with it, that's fine. But again, you need to find what's right for you and your business, and know enough on how you're going to be charged. So ask the questions. Find out how they do that. Do they offer a free initial consultation? Or do you pay $100 for initial consultation and you get it off if you lose it if you walk away, you apply it towards your bill if you stay. So variety of ways. Ask good questions. Attorneys are practicing in a variety of ways anymore. So you'll find your downtown lawyers. Your downtown lawyers are usually those that did high school, college, law school, big law firm, and haven't had as much maybe real world experience. And that's not uniformly true, but in general. Suburb attorneys, you get a mix back and forth. And then you get your kitchen table attorneys, the people that practice out of their house. Maybe they have a virtual office. Maybe you meet at coffee shops. So again, think about what you want, where you meet, how comfortable are you. When I started, I had a home office and I met people in coffee shops. Well, it didn't take me very long to realize that there's a lot of confidential information flowing around in coffee shops if you only listen. So, and I moved into an office. Raincoat or towel? Any idea what I mean? Here's the deal. Protect yourself. You're going out. You want to, is it going to rain? I keep an umbrella in my car just in case I'm someplace and it starts raining. But I'd rather plan ahead than have to mop myself off with a towel afterwards. People don't visit an attorney or any other professional probably as often as they should. So when you go in, let's look to plan ahead. Let's be proactive. You have to be your own advocate as much as anyone else does. So again, raincoat or towel, plan ahead or mop it up after it happens. It's always better if you can plan ahead and prevent getting wet in the first place. And then do they care? Are they a resource? I want my clients to be successful. I'm so excited when they're successful. I have a bracelet I'm wearing today from a client that started a new business that imports bracelets and charms. I have wider hips because I have my cupcake shop that I love. So clients, I want them to be successful. I want them to know what other resources there are out there that can help them. There's SBA. There's all sorts of little incubation places. There's all sorts of things out there. There's women in business. What works for you? What's out there? Let's toss some of that around. See what can work best for my client to make you successful. To get the most out of the small business, you need legal advice that goes beyond the average. So, you don't want to cut and paste things off the internet. For me, I've emptied the trash as well as filed a corporate structure. Real world experience, again, it doesn't have to be me. It's got to be the attorney that you feel comfortable with, somebody that you know isn't going to rip off your budget, but it's going to get the work done and get it done thoroughly. Minimize liability, maximize your success. So what I do in my practice is I act as a general counsel. 3M, all of these big companies, General Mills, they have their inside counsel. They have their general counsel. I work as a general counsel for small businesses, for the little guys. So the people that are still working out of coffee shops and kitchen tables and, the front seat of their car. Because that's a lot of us. That's a lot of people that do that. And it's not fair if they don't have the same chances. So that's where I work, and there's other attorneys, again, that do that. I want to talk a little bit about client experiences. One of the things that I find with clients, biggest thing, when someone calls me up, first thing I do is I check their business registration. It may have been administratively dissolved. It may have never gotten the name changed from the previous owner. It may have never been created. Or it may be operating under a different name than is filed with the Secretary of State. So, I mean, let's start there. Let's get that foundation down right. Let's know what your business is, and let's know how it protects you. Because having a legal entity can protect you. But again, you need to know what that is and how it works and how to protect it. So, we start there. That's the first thing I see, and I see it all the time. So that's something to be aware of. I've got another client. What they've done is they call me in on an as-needed basis when they have a problem with a bill. They're do-it-yourselfers. So they send out the first letter, and if they don't get payment, they say, well, help me send out the second letter. And sometimes they want to send it themselves, but they want me to edit it. And sometimes they want me to send it or make a phone call. I don't do collections, but I set them up in a way or connect them with someone that can help them with a payment system. Maybe it's because they need to take a credit card because the people that pay them don't have enough to do it in cash, so they need to get paid via credit card. So maybe that's what we need to get set up for them. There's a variety of things. I've had this same client that does that. They call me and they say, oh, by the way, my brother-in-law is getting divorced. Do you know someone I can refer him to? I don't do what I don't do. Because you know what? I want to sleep at night. And that's just like you guys. You're not going to take every bit of business that walks in the door and guess your way through it. To me, it's not worth it. So I have other advisors, other attorneys that I'll say, hey, here's a couple of names. Tell me more about the person. I want to be a resource for you. I want to be an overall resource, your first call for help in a variety of things. Another client, their problem is they have done their cut and paste contracts off of LegalZoom, which was okay at first. I'm not going to judge. They did what they thought was right for them at the right time. However, as they started getting more successful, they started finding more problems, more loopholes, more issues that weren't being addressed. Clients that their clients weren't following through on certain things, vendor relationships, all of those kind of things. So again, you can learn from their mistakes. Take time, plan ahead, figure out why you're in this business and what makes you passionate about it, and then follow that trail and that passion. But let somebody else do the parts that you don't want to do. I'm a word person. I'm not a numbers person. I thank God every day for CPAs because, you know what? I've got math phobia. So somebody else takes care of that for me. I've got somebody else that does my administrative work because, you know what? I will never get it done. So find people that free you up to do the part of you that makes business for you, that makes money, that drives your business forward. Because you want to have your goals, you want to be able to have your financials, you want to move forward, and you have to have the base to do it and know what you're doing right. One of the other things I want to talk about is where you put yourself out there. Businesses who are out marketing, talking to people, meeting people, you need to find other people who are like you that can support you. Another part of building an advisory team is not just the legal experts, but it's those friends, it's those associates, it's those other people in the Twin Cities that do what you do, but maybe in a different neighborhood. Those are the kind of people that when you're having a bad day or when you run into a situation, you can bounce ideas off of. You need to be able to find those people, particularly when you're a small business and you're working by yourself and you're ready to tear your hair out. There's times that you need to call someone, and maybe they can see it better. Maybe they have marketing advice. Maybe they say, you know, you need to go and talk to a lawyer about this. Something doesn't seem right to me, and that's why it's bothering you. Those are the kinds of things you want to look for. Patrick, do I have time to tell him about some other clients? Okay. So let's talk about the variety of things. Clients, you want to set your clients up for success. So when clients come into the door, you may need, and you'll find this depending on what your individual businesses are, you may need to make sure that they have their files set up right. So corporate records, corporate record books. One of my early problems that for early clients came to me, two friends that went into business together. Friends and business don't always make sense. Now, there's times that they do, but you know what? You need some agreements in place for when they don't. I've got a mom and dad, have a great, wonderful business. They left it to their two daughters, 50-50. Now, how many people in the room have a sibling and get along with them all the time and have similar ways of doing things? And no. You can't. Fair and equal are not always the same. So it's one of the ways I work with family businesses is coming in and saying, okay, we've got mom and dad and they want to pass this business on. What's the best way to do it? You also need to educate and be educated if you have two or more people in your business. What are their roles? What do they do? We can't have everybody. I've got another business with 5 siblings. Well, they all have their roles, but the problem is all the employees see sibling as equal. And so it's like, you know, going to mom, and if mom doesn't tell you what you want to hear, you go to dad. That's what they do with the 5 siblings. You have to put things in place to help them be successful. So sometimes it's simple as understanding a job description. This is your role, this is your role. This is who gets to make the call, who gets to make, you know, a judgment on finances. Too often if you've got partners, somebody's spending money and somebody's working their tail off. Again, you want those definitions. You know what? What if your partner dies? Now you're in business with your partner's husband or wife. And what if you really don't like that person, or they're an idiot, but you're stuck because your livelihood's tied up with them? Without some sort of an operating agreement, you don't know and you haven't planned for that. So again, people aren't going to go to an attorney every time something happens, as nice as that would be. But let's plan. Let's look 5 years down the road when we draft documents for you. And will it be comprehensive against everything in the world? Probably not. But you can try. And you can look for those situations that might arise down the road that could cause a problem. If you need outside investors, if you've bought a franchise will lead you to believe that they have absolutely no flexibility in the face of the earth. But they just might. And it depends on the franchise, and it depends on the reputation of the people involved with the franchise. And sometimes it takes a little bit of research. But sometimes it's not a legal approach. It's a philosophical approach. It's, I understood that you lived up to your verbal obligations. Everyone in the industry has told me, you are an upstanding person. But the behavior you're doing in this case, it goes in the face of that. Help me understand what I'm missing in this situation. Because at the end of the day, if someone feels personally responsible and their morals are on the line, and they feel like their reputation is on the line, they might have more flexibility in dealing with you. So it's knowing how to approach those people that are out there that can affect your lives, and have some power with, for example, in a franchise. My family-owned business involved hotels. We built and developed hotels across the Midwest. And so when I said on an earlier slide, I've emptied trash, I've cleaned a room, I've plunged a toilet, and I've worked in front of the city council, and I've gotten the investors together, and I've worked with a general counsel, and so, or general contractor. So I've got a variety of experience that I bring. And so when I deal with franchises, I've dealt with franchise people. Am I going to take a franchise to court? No, but I know who will, and who will win for you if there's any way possible. Because that's what you need. You need people with laser-like focus that put your interests first, want you to be successful, and then brings in the people that complement them to make your business better. I want to be a resource. I want the clients to find ways to make their businesses successful. If I can be part of that, that's a win-win for me. When my client started the business with the bracelets, I was part of her focus group, and she talked about the costs of importing the bracelets and the marketing and branding and getting the trademark and getting the copyright. We brought people in that specialized in different pieces and put together a comprehensive package. And so, I have my bracelet, I'm so excited. So those are the kinds of things that you want to look at. You know, have an annual meeting. At the very least, I don't care if you're a business of one, and I'm a business of one. I sit down once a year, I review my business plan, I look at goals, I revisit things, and I document it. Now, the likelihood that the corporate police are going to come and check that, or the IRS, maybe is low, but you know what? It does me good for my business. And that's what all of you should do. So take the time to make those lists, to set up a corporate folder. Have it all in one place. God knows it's easy enough to get stacks and stacks of paperwork going. You know, ask me. Keep it together. Do you have more than one business? Do you operate under more than one name? Anytime you're moving, adding an employee, I have one company that calls me as sort of an on-call when they have employee issues. Is this an issue? Is this something we need to do this with? How do we need to document that? In fact, they had 2 of their stores call me. So anytime they had me in at their employee orientation, so that their employees had a face, someone to go to outside if they had complaints that they felt could not be safely resolved within the corporation. I was the outside resource. They could come directly to me. And I serve in that role still. So if anyone has any questions, you can ask me now. You can come in the back, email me. I've got a book back there from the state of Minnesota about starting a business. It's a great resource. They're free. There's a lot of free resources out there that you can get, and I'd be happy to direct you to any of those kinds of things. So otherwise, thank you. I appreciate you listening.